Let's talk a little bit about Spurs, because they were knocked out of the Europa League last night. Another really just not a good performance from them at Wembley against a team that you would have expected them to be able to go through over two legs, certainly. And he picked a full team. They were all out there. There was nobody that you kind of thought, okay, he's resting them for the Premier League or any of that kind of stuff. And Dele Ali completely loses the head and gets sent off, and a horrific tackle. Yeah,
well, that was a big turning point, Jerry. And it was a dreadful tackle. But he's no discipline at all, Dele Ali. He's a very, very talented lad, but he'd want to get a grip of himself, and the manager would want to get a grip of him as well. He's misbehaved quite a lot. He's no discipline whatsoever, Jerry. And I saw the man of Pochettino saying maybe 6 weeks ago, well, I like to see the bit of devil in him. Now, that's an excuse for not getting a grip of him. Every manager wants to see a bit of devil in the player, but indiscipline is indiscipline, and that was a dreadful tackle. And he's been at it all season. Not bad tackles like that here, but his discipline has been awful, and he's got to get a grip of himself, or the manager's got to get a grip of himself. I mean, he might have actually lost that tie for them last night here.
Yeah.
When was he sent off? After about 20 minutes or so?
First half, anyway, maybe 40, closer to 40, I think.
Was it? Well, he was sent off down to 10 men when they're struggling to win a match. They shouldn't have been dependent on that either, Ger. But they've disappointed very, very a great deal this season. Playing at Wembley, I thought they've hardly won a game at Wembley. But they're overall, when they've been playing in most of the big matches, we saw them recently against Liverpool and that, and they were very, very poor. Manchester City, they were very poor. So, I think they're certainly overrated. A few weeks ago, I thought they'd really be one of the main challengers, but they've fallen away badly, Ger. And Dele Ali, and he's somebody, the manager particularly, has got to get a grip of him.
Okay, let's talk about that, and then we'll come back to why Spurs have fallen away. In terms of getting a grip of him, is that just sitting him down? Or is that getting senior players as well? Is it just pointing everybody in his direction, saying, put pressure on this guy because he needs to be told that this is unacceptable behaviour? What's the process? Well,
first of all, it shouldn't have got to this stage, Ger. When he came to the club, I think he wasn't disciplined anyway. So that should have been a job of the manager from day one to tell him this is not good enough. You're going to be sent off. You're going to be booked. You're going to be suspended matches. I don't want that. It's no good to the club. It's no good to you. You've got to stop it. He didn't. I've seen the quotes from Pochettino, and he hasn't. He said, "Well, that's the way he is, and I like to see a bit of devil in the players and all that crap that managers come out with sometimes when they should have been getting a grip of them." So that hasn't happened. What he did the other day hasn't happened overnight yet. There's been a build-up to that, I think, since he's come to the club.
Certainly at the end of last season there was an incident and he ends up getting suspended for the last number of games.
Yeah, he punched somebody, didn't he? In the West Brom, I think he punched somebody in the stomach at a corner kick or something. But he's done loads of things, Ger. I've seen him nearly every match I've seen him play. He either deserves to be booked or sent off.
And the thing is, it's not one of those fouls that you're doing in a 50-50 situation. No. It's not a shoulder or a hard tackle. It's nasty.
It's lack of discipline, Ger. I've seen him do it loads of times. Now, that was a particularly nasty tackle the other night, which was very, very obvious. But I've seen him in other matches where he's pushing somebody or pulling somebody or taking them down when there's no need to do it.
Yeah. There is definitely an immaturity there, and we have seen footballers grow out of this in the past. But you have to take action to get them out of it. You know, the manager shouldn't be saying in the paper, "Oh, that's the way he is, and I like to see a bit of devil in him," and all that. Carry on. You should get a grip of him and say, "You can't do this. You know, it's not acceptable." And get him out of it. Am I right in saying there was a bit of this going on with Wayne Rooney when he signed for Manchester United at the start? There were incidents. He was definitely getting booked way more often than, and there was I don't know what Ferguson said or did, but that stopped, and everybody was like, "Oh, you can't take that edge off Rooney's game. He won't be half the player he is." And then,
well, they all say that, yeah. But you see, Ferguson was a great manager. I'd say Ferguson got a grip of him and said, "Look, this is no good to me, Mr. Rooney." Because you're going to be sent off, you're going to be booked, you're going to miss matches, you're going to give free kicks away. It's no good to anybody, particularly the manager. But if the manager has to get a grip of it, but if the manager's saying even publicly, "Well, that's the way he is, and I like a bit of bite him," again, all managers love that. But there's a way of doing it. You don't have to give silly free kicks away. You give enough free kicks away without them being silly free kicks or getting sent off. But he's out of time after every match I see him in. He either deserves to be booked or sent off, and he's got to get a grip of it. Wayne Rooney was a young lad when he went to Old Trafford, and as you say, probably at times he was. But but he got out of it very quickly.
Yeah.
Ferguson wouldn't have stood for that because it's no good to the manager. Having fouls against you, having the player sent off, that's no good to anybody. So you've got to stop it and get a grip of it.
Is it possible Pochettino's lying to the media and saying that, but actually is raging with Dele Ali constantly? Or
well, I think he hasn't got a grip of him. So he must be, whatever he's saying to the media, you'd say, well, he has to believe it, because every match I see him in, this has been going on for a couple of years, don't forget.
Yeah.
This didn't happen the other night. This has been going on for a while. And even the statement of, well, he's a bit of devil, like a bit of devilment, he shouldn't be making that to the press anyway. You know what he should be saying? Well, he is a bit indisciplined, I'll have to get a grip of him and make sure that everybody knows about it. But what we've seen so far, he hasn't done. He hasn't got a grip of him.
Yeah.
Now, maybe he's tried to, and maybe the lad just won't have it, Jerry. You don't know. Pochettino might say, I don't want this, and he just goes on and does it anyway.